Hey, if you're interested in wrapping dry hay and you want to store them effectively, or maybe you've done it for previous years and you're very disappointed because at the time that you open these bales, you see moisture got into these bales and kind of ruined the hay and the quality's not as good as you were expecting. Well, a lot of it does not have to do with your bale wrapper itself. A lot of it has to do with how you store that hay. So today we're going to talk about storage of wrapped bales outside. So stay tuned. So my name's Brad Kemp. I'm with Blue Nile Farm. I exclusively wrap dry hay, and that's why you see this hay in black wrap. And when I make my hay, without making a long story about this, is that when I open up these bales, I expect that hay to be pristine, just exactly like it came out of the barn. And unfortunately, over the years, I found out that it doesn't always work that way. And it's not necessarily how the bales are wrapped, but it really comes down to how those bales are stored. So today I'm going to take you through the process of things I've learned and things that will possibly help you in making that decision that if you're making dry hay, that you can alleviate some of this damage to your bales by doing certain aspects of things that may work better for you than what you've done in the past. But first, we're going to talk about the most important aspect is creating the pad. You need a place to store your bales. And most of us drive around our neighborhoods and we see what other farmers do, and we'll drive along a grass line and we'll see a bunch of round bales that are wrapped laying on the grass along the tree line, or we'll see them all jammed up in the driveway somewhere, piled up like this, sometimes even piled up higher than this. So it all varies on where you go and where you live. But how you store the hay is going to be very important. And storage of baleage may be different from dry hay. I don't make baleage, I only make dry hay. So I'm going to tell you my experiences with dry hay. But I'm going to guess that how you store dry hay is going to be just as equal to storing baleage. So let's go and we'll talk about the pad because that is the nut where it all starts. So when it comes down to making a pad, pick an area that's normally relatively pretty dry. Secondly, I like to use wood chips because they're cheap. A lot of times you can get them from a tree service for free, and if you have to buy them, you can buy them at a very low cost through a tree service. They are normally kind of chunky pieces so that moisture, if it rains or snows and the snow starts to melt, it'll actually start to fall right through the wood chip itself. So basically, you're not going to have ponding, with the chips as you would, say, with dirt. And lastly is you can create a 6 to 8 inch layer on top of the soil and then put your round bale on top of that, and that will keep your bales dry. Now at the base of the bale, when you remove it after a season, you may see a wet spot, but relatively, that moisture is not penetrating the inside of that bale. Last year we had 6,800 round bales in this pad, and only two bales actually had water actually kind of wince itself into that bale. Um, all the other bales are perfect on the bottom. So my suggestion is if you want to protect the base, get yourself wood chips, build yourself a pad. And if you're not running 6,800 bales for 50, 60 bales, you're not going to need that much wood chips. There's probably 120 yards, 150 yards worth of material in here. And I might not need all of it, but I have it all dumped in here in different spaces. And what I'm planning on doing is then taking it and creating rows. I want to create rows of wood chips that are elevated. And in between the rows, I'm going to let it fall, like kind of like a dead furrow, and consistently create rows. And then on that higher pad is where I'm going to keep my bales. So let me show you a row. Ideally, you would like to have full sun. Unfortunately, I have a little tree line in this northern corner here, and I'm stuck with what I have. But the more open field you have, the better. Secondly, you can see I started a row and it's elevated. I just need a tool to smooth this out, and I'm going to bring my skid steer in here with a unit called the SR3, which I use for grading, and it'll give you the ability to grade this. Now, York rake will work. Basically, something that you can use to kind of smooth out your wood chips, the better. Even if you had a box scraper and you went very lightly, that's good. Even just a front end loader will work. But all we're trying to do is elevate our pad. That's it. It doesn't have to be fancy. I just try to make it smooth because I'm going to lay everything in here uh, a certain way. So once you have your pad elevated, I got 2 lanes right now where I'm going to have 2 rows of bales, and I'm just going to make it as I go. But it's higher, it's somewhat crowned, and I'm just going to lay the bales right across the top of this, and I'm not going to have them touching. I'm going to keep them separate with a couple inches between them so they're not making contact, and I'm going to stack them individually all the way up and down the row. There's no bales on top of each other, and there's no contact, and I'll explain why later. So I got about 1.5 rows done so far, and the biggest thing is it doesn't take long to get them on the chips. It's just all this preparation back and forth. That's it's probably the biggest time constraint that you have is just kind of setting this up and getting things moved around and where you wrap and where you don't wrap. And as a one-man outfit, it just basically sucks up a day or two just to do this. But it's worth it in the long run when you're looking at the losses that you could potentially have and easier way to get yourself some barn space. But it's just something you have to undertake and just be ready for some extra work. Now, the one thing I have found out about when I do this is that I have the best results when the bales don't touch each other and there's nothing on top of them. I think a lot of it has to do with the issue of when the bales compress with each other and say it rains, a moisture doesn't have the ability to escape, or the plastic itself may not heat up and evaporate. So basically, it creates wet spots. And this is not scientifically proven. This is just my theory because I realized that when I had bales on top of each other, stacked, two on top of one or two on top of each other, basically the sun never got to heat up the bale, and it seemed like the bale itself never dried out. It created a wet spot and stayed there. And if you ever look at bales on top of each other, and you pull that top bale off after a rains or after there's moisture there, the moisture never leaves. It kind of doesn't get that chance to dry. This way, you know, the water will shed off and this top will get really hot and dry itself out. The only time I've ever had any moisture on any of these bales, it seems like it's on the north side. So I might have like a little tiny spot on the north end, and I think a lot of it has to do with the trees and the sun. But overall, as long as you have these elevated up on some chips, and they're separated like this, you're going to have the greatest results you've ever had. It might be something you might want to pay some little consideration to. It's a lot easier and better than putting a tarp on, I think. And I'm definitely not going to have nearly the loss. And if you're really particular about having and getting the best wrap bale possible, this is the way to go. If you don't want to do the extra work, be ready for a little bit of spoilage or at least wetness in your bale. I mean, you call it what you will. It's not a perfect bale and it's not going to look perfect. Here, you're going to have it looking perfect. It's going to smell good, and if there is a wet spot here and there, if you feed your animals well, they'll eat it. It doesn't matter what animals, horses, cows, whatever. They'll eat around it or eat it. So, I've had really good luck with this. And this is what I wanted to kind of present because um, all this does is repetition. So now I'll create another row and I'll bring in more uh, of these wrap bales and I'll just keep filling this up. Now the one trick that I have to mention too is in the wintertime, right now it's dry, I can run a tractor through here, but in the wintertime, you can make some ruts and make a real big mess. And it's not that's where it's not fun. I would pick really cold days and I would pull bales out and we'd make ruts in here all day long. I have a neighbor, he'd buy hay from me. He can't even get in here because it's just so hard on him. He has a little tiny 24 horse tractor and he can barely get in. I like in the wintertime, that's when the skid steer comes into play with the tracks and it can glide over all this stuff and then you'll have a lot less ruts. But anytime you bring a tractor out in the snow, mud, slush, you all know you're going to get ruts no matter where you are. What's nice is with the wood chips, it is a little more forgiving and you can get around a little bit better. But as far as a good storage area, if you pick a nice dry spot and you do this type of method of raising them off the ground, like I said, I almost guarantee you're going to be more than happy with the results. So as you guys can see, I wound up leveling off the entire pad. I got a bunch of bales out here, and this is pretty much what it's going to look like. And it's definitely probably about 6 inches or better higher than the surrounding ground. And we had a rain last night, and I don't have any setting water at all in this pad area. And it does a really wonderful job. But I wanted to kind of show you what it looks like when it's totally leveled out. And I could add more chips if I want, and if there's a low spot, but it's really easy now to manage, and now it comes down to a point of just, filling it up. So, but this is the end all result, and I kind of want to give you guys a good shot of what it actually looks like, leveled out. And that SR3 made by AVI Attachments, I've talked about it on a lot of videos on my channel. It's a great tool to level out scenarios like this. It's self-leveling, and it does a good job. Another tool that you could use to get a really good finish would be a chain harrow. This is where a chain harrow would actually really make a big difference if you utilize one of those, because that will definitely level it out. I would push everything out with a skid steer and our tractor with the bucket, and then I would take the chain harrow and just smooth everything out. That would do a great job as well. So those are really my ideas, and wood chips is a great base, and I highly endorse it. Hey guys, thanks for watching a video on how to make a pad for dry round bales that are wrapped. This really makes a big difference for me, and I'm sure it'll help you out down the road. Even if you're doing baleage, I can't see how this thing would hurt either. Uh, Again, I'm not really familiar with the baleage aspect, but I am familiar with the dry hay. You know, Keep those bales separated. You're going to really get a better result. Make sure you get about 28 to 32 wraps on a 4x4 bale. Use black if you're using dry hay. And again, a 20-inch wrap for 4x4 or 4x5 bales, 30-inch wrap for 4x5 and up. Those are really my biggest suggestions. Make sure you're getting 50% overlap. If you got all that going, get this pad built, because I'm going to tell you, the pad is going to make a big difference, and I think you'll be more than happy. Even try to do an experiment with it and try it out at a small scale. And I think you'll be really satisfied with the results. So until next time, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.